Welcome to KidsSafe training course number 1. We will be talking about who needs to be KidsSafe, why, and the goals of the KidsSafe process. At Riverstone Church, we believe that Christ has called us to reach out to children and youth with God's love, and we consider this ministry a high calling and sacred trust. So, therefore, we're committed to doing everything within our power to protect all the young people that we work with from the possibility of any kind of harm, abuse, or neglect. And it's our hope and our prayer that in the midst of a troubled world, Riverstone Church will always be a place where kids can be safe. And this is why we are committed to the KidsSafe process. So in this course, you'll be learning about why we have KidsSafe, who needs to be KidsSafe. Later courses, we'll talk about abuse, what is abuse, and mandatory reporting. And then our individual ministries all have different and unique procedures in order to help keep you safe and the kids safe. And then we'll conclude with a questionnaire. So for our first slide here, we have goals. The goals for our church and KidsSafe. Number 1 is to prevent child abuse by educating members of our church family that minister to children at Riverstone. Another goal is to protect the children entrusted to our care from people who may seek to harm them, and to ensure proper reporting of suspected child abuse, and lastly, to protect our volunteers. So not only are we trying to protect our children, but also to protect you who are working with children and church ministry from the possibility of false accusations and litigation. We want to make sure that we're good stewards with our time, our resources, and helping our community to reach people for Jesus. So who needs to be KidsSafe? All volunteers working with children and youth under the age of 18 years old. All pastors, elders, and staff will be KidsSafe. And then any person who is doing an overnight with children, maybe it's a field trip or retreat. And then all persons attending any overnight short-term mission trips also needs to be KidsSafe, regardless of whether there's children on the mission team. This is a part of our short-term mission trip team requirements. And then any person driving minors. So this also includes our shuttle bus driving on Sunday mornings and on special events. All of those drivers need to be KidsSafe as well. KidsSafe requirements. So this is what you need to do in order to become KidsSafe. If you're watching this, that means you're trying to get your KidsSafe seminar training completed. You also need to have a completed application that has references from a church and personal references. You need to make sure that you're attending our church regularly. That this is a part of being committed to Riverstone Church, is participating in the Sunday worship services. And you have to be at least 12 years old to help with the children ministry, and at least 18 years old and out of high school to help with youth ministry. So some of the clearances that you'll need to be responsible for is a child abuse clearance, Pennsylvania State Police clearance, and then an FBI fingerprinting. There's also an affidavit. If you lived in the state of Pennsylvania for the last 10 years, you can sign an affidavit form instead of the FBI fingerprinting. But it also depends on what your responsibility is, if you're paid staff, babysitting, and those types of things. Whoever is your ministry leader will help you to identify what's required of you for your clearances. And lastly, this is the KidsSafe seminar. So that will conclude the first training for this course, which is goals. You can fill out the last couple of things and then you can head to the next course, which is on abuse.